5. The Lilliput effect. After a mass extinction, the survivors shrink, not overnight, but over generations. Scientists call this the Lilliput effect. When the world is a wasteland, food is scarce. The big animals that need massive amounts of food are the first to go, but small creatures can survive on almost nothing. A tiny mammal eating bugs in a burrow is built for the apocalypse, so for millions of years after a mass extinction, smaller body size is the winning ticket. After the asteroid wiped out the dinosaurs, the early mammals that survived were tiny, some the size of a shrew, basically a furry thumb with legs. In the oceans, fish that were once the size of a dog shrank to the size of your hand. Eventually, the Lilliput effect reverses. Once ecosystems recover and food becomes plentiful again, animals start getting bigger. The tiny survivors slowly evolve back into giants, which means every massive, magnificent creature that ever walked this earth, and every human who has ever lived, ultimately traces their ancestry back to something small, desperate, and just trying to make it through the end of the world. Number 4. The day oxygen became poison. About 2.4 billion years ago, Earth had its first and perhaps largest mass extinction. The killer wasn't an asteroid or a volcano, it was oxygen, the very stuff you're breathing right now. Back then, the atmosphere had almost no oxygen, and early life consisted of tiny single-celled organisms called anaerobes. To them, oxygen was a deadly poison. Then, a new bacteria called cyanobacteria evolved. They figured out photosynthesis, and their waste product was oxygen. They pumped it out by the trillions. The oxygen built up in the atmosphere over millions of years, wiping out the vast majority of all life. Scientists call this the Great Oxidation Event, a polite name for a planet-wide poisoning. Somewhere in that chaos, one organism did something remarkable. Instead of dying from the oxygen, it figured out how to use it. It turned the poison killing everything around it into fuel. Cells that use oxygen can produce up to 18 times more energy than cells that don't. That's the difference between a bicycle and a sports car. That one ancestor is the reason every animal on Earth exists today. All of us are descendants of that one organism that refused to die. Number 3. The sound that ended the world. When the Chicxulub asteroid hit Earth 66 million years ago, it made the loudest sound in the history of the planet. A rock concert is about 110 decibels. A jet engine is 140. The asteroid impact was estimated to have reached 300 decibels at the point of impact. The decibel scale is not linear, it's exponential. 300 decibels is millions of times more powerful than a nuclear bomb. At that level, sound stops being something you hear. It becomes a pressure wave that destroys you. Your lungs would collapse. Your organs would liquefy. Before the fireball, before the heat, the sound alone would have finished the job. But it didn't just stay in Mexico. The pressure waves circled the entire globe multiple times. The sound also traveled through the ground, triggering magnitude 11 earthquakes everywhere. The largest earthquake we've ever recorded was a 9.5. This was thousands of times more powerful. For the first few minutes after impact, the ground itself became the enemy. The asteroid didn't just hit the Earth, it rang it like a bell, and everything alive was trapped inside. Number 2. The poisonous bathtub. The Permian-Triassic extinction, 252 million years ago, is called the Great Dying for a reason. It killed 96% of all marine species. The oceans basically murdered themselves. Normally ocean water circulates, with cold water sinking at the poles, which pumps oxygen into the deep, but massive volcanic eruptions caused rapid global warming. The poles warmed up, and the circulation stopped. The ocean went still, and the deep water ran out of oxygen. It started to rot. Bacteria that don't need oxygen and produce toxic hydrogen sulfide gas took over. The deep ocean filled with this poison, which then rose to the surface. The seas didn't just stop supporting life, they became an active weapon against it. The terrifying part? The ocean circulation that keeps our seas alive today is slowing down. The Atlantic circulation is at its weakest point in over 1,000 years. The reason is the same: warming poles. The ocean kept a record of what happened last time. We just had to learn how to read it. Number 1. The comet that started civilization. Everything you see around you might exist because of one really bad day about 12,900 years ago. Scientists call it the Younger Dryas impact. A comet, or a swarm of comet fragments, slammed into Earth. The impacts triggered massive wildfires and threw so much debris into the sky that it blocked the sun. Temperatures dropped suddenly and stayed cold for over 1,000 years. The nomadic animals that humans hunted died off. Before this, humans were hunters and gatherers. Your food delivery service just shut down permanently. You had two choices: figure something out or starve. Right around this exact time in the Middle East, people started farming for the first time. They started domesticating animals. They started building permanent settlements, because you can't wander around when you have crops, and settlements require rules, storage, and management. You need, basically, civilization. The oldest known temple in the world, Göbekli Tepe, was built right after this cold period. Some researchers think it was a place where traumatized survivors came together. We didn't build civilization because we were ambitious. We built it because we were desperate. Number